So a subscriber asked recently, can the AP200 tool be used for doing things like DPF regen and the TPMS, all the things that basically come up on the service box? So I thought today we'd have a go and have a look. So starting off straight into the app, we're going to go into the service option, and straight away there we can see all of the service items that we can run through and we can actually use or interrogate on the car itself. DPF option there, obviously if we just click on more, it tells us what the DPF is, what it can do, and so on, oxidization, so that DPF performance is always kept optimal. So we'll just click on that, just go into it. We'll select Land Rover. Obviously it's the only car we have, it's the only car we have on the system, it's the car we're in today. Then we connect to it. I won't bore you with all the long connection, drawn out process of connecting to the car. Once it's connected, we then get the options in the DPF for the diagnosis or hot function. So running the diagnosis currently, what we're going to do is just go into it and look to read any codes. No codes detected, which is great. It's always useful to see that there is a nice clean bill of health on that item. So we'll just come out of that, go back into now the hot function. That's where we can see we've got the options for doing the DPF sensor replacement or the DPF filter replacement at the bottom, but the one in the middle, the DPF dynamic regeneration, that's the one that we're kind of interested in, I think mostly for today. So we'll just click on that one. That brings up obviously this important instructions as it's labelled there. So if you can't read it, I'll read it out. It says, this application carries out a forced DPF regeneration. This will only occur if the soot mass present in the filter is below a set upper limit. The application will determine the soot mass, and if it is above the upper limit, this application will terminate and you will be instructed to replace the particulate filter. If it is below the upper limit, the forced regen will be performed. Please be advised that this is a two-man operation and the diagnostic tool must remain connected to the vehicle whilst the regeneration is carried out. Press the confirmation OK to continue or cancel to exit. So I'm going to hit cancel. And for now, I think that's all I really need to do. I can see that that's going to work, so I'm just going to come out of the app. Okay, so now let's have a look at the TPMS system. So straight in the app again, and on the service option, we'll go straight into TPMS here. Again, we'll select the Land Rover, and I won't bore you with the connection piece again. I'll just skip over this boring loading thing. There we go, it's connected. And again, once again, what you get is the diagnosis and hot function. So for each system, basically this tool allows you to go into it, interrogate the system for any faults, any errors, any trouble codes or anything like that, which we're going to do now just to have a look. We've got this intermittent headlamp control module connection problem, so I'm not going to worry too much about that for today. It's on and off, it's not causing any problems. So we'll just come out of that, and then we'll go back into the hot function, where we can see we can do a sensor replacement, a monitor sensor identification display, or a tire pressure sensor test. So 3 different things, but obviously all part of the TPMS system. So what we're going to do is just go into the middle one, the monitor sensor ID display. So it says this application will read and then display the tire pressure monitor sensor identification. So OK to confirm or cancel to abort, obviously for each one fitted. So I clicked OK. It then tells us to make sure that the ignition is on. So my car's keyless start, so I've got a push button. My engine's actually running today as well, so no problems with that as far as I'm concerned at the moment. So once it's doing that, it's saying it will now read, and there we go, it's communicated, it's got the information about each of the sensors. Clicking OK, it tells us to turn the ignition off, which I will do. And then once I've done that, you can just click OK on the option on the screen here. It then tells you to turn the ignition back on. So I'm going to click on that now, click on the button, just turn it on without starting the engine. And then just click OK again on the app here. There we go. And it then says clear the fault codes. The next procedure will be to carry out a complete vehicle diagnostic trouble code clear. Do you wish to continue? So let's hit OK. Okay, back in the options for the TPMS, we're going to look at tyre pressure sensor replacement. That was the top one there, sorry, it was a bit quick. We can see that we can do a standard wheel or a standard wheel without the pressure sensor, or a space saver wheel. So we'll just come out of that. That's good to know that we can replace them if needs be. And then the bottom one is the monitoring tyre pressure sensor test. So this is where you can actually do the test of the sensor to make sure it's working. So it says there about going on a drive, or I think once you run through it, it tells you to go on a drive. But for now, I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to come out of it. It's good to know that we can obviously connect to the system and edit the TPMS. Okay, so from that, it looks like we would be able to do the DPF regeneration. I'm not going to do it on mine, and it says it's a two-man job as well. I'm not quite sure why, but there's only me today. So for now, hopefully that's been useful in understanding that it can do the DPF. Obviously, you need to make sure that it's within the set parameters, which the system said it would do for you. Okay, and we also did the TPMS system there as well, just to go in and interrogate it and have a look. We went part of the way through the operation, but we then didn't go for a drive because I've not got the time today. But what it did do was, where it said that it will control the ignition and everything else, it turned exactly that. It turned the ignition on, the steering wheel come in, out, up, down, and then I think the boot unlocked, the wipers come up and stopped halfway up the screen, the headlamp washers went one in turn, everything kind of went one at a time, that the car was obviously communicating and doing things to the car. So it was a little bit hairy for a moment, but then obviously once it done, I cancelled and come back out of it, it was fine. But as far as I know anyway, my TPMS is good. But hopefully for Al Christie, who requested the video, that will now tell you that yes, you can indeed do these service items using this AP200. So hopefully that's been useful. If it has been useful, then please give us a like down below, and if you haven't done so already, remember to hit subscribe coming up here now. Really appreciate your time for watching. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.